Sancho, Rashford, Sancho. Oh my God, I know, and I'm with you, Man United fans, I really am. And it's painful for us all to sit here and take the news that is coming out and the slow process of what Manchester United have to go through to try and get rid of these duck eggs in our football club. Do you know what? I'm going to bring you up to date with the Sancho news and what Romano said, contrary to what I was going on about at lunchtime and this morning. Obviously, things seem to have changed off of one article that Fabrizio Romano has said. I'm going to dissect that and explain why it's not as bad as what some people are actually making out with the Jadon Sancho scenario. I am starting with Rashford today, though, and a significant update, and I'll go through it all as well in detail as to where it's come from regarding Barcelona's approach to the Marcus Rashford deal and what they want to offer. We kind of know the basics of it, but there's a few more details involved in it I want to talk about as well. Just regarding the goalkeeping situation as well with Manchester United, interesting update on that in terms of what happens this window, which will develop what Manchester United do for a goalkeeper as well. We'll talk about that, and there are some crazy stories. We'll have a little bit of a laugh towards the back end of the show as well about some obscure stories that are flying around. Of course, I want all of your comments in the live section as well, everyone. So get your questions in there, get your thoughts in there and everything that we're talking about. We are going right in at the deep end, and it is with the biggest trouble causer of them all, which is Marcus Rashford. I say that with confidence because of the antics of this man over the last couple of seasons, but you can make your mind up as to who you think really is the biggest issue. And some would put Sancho right up there, to be honest. Both of them together, they are like the Freedom Twins, aren't they, really? That's what they are. You could add Garnacho, he's like the apprentice. He's the one who's just catching up with them both, into at the moment and trying to be that problem, that ego-tripped superstar wannabe, whatever it is. Like, all of these players had the potential and some, and all, in my eyes, have failed in their careers so far. Now, Garnacho's got a chance of turning this around, but the freedom fighters, well, them two, which we're talking about now, update on Garnacho, by the way, actually, I forgot to mention it at the top of the show, but the freedom fighters, Rashford and Sancho. Let's get into Marcus Rashford first of all, and where we're at with him and what has actually been said. So, Sean Connolly. Now, I want to give Sean some credit in here. He's not the biggest account on X, but he has actually talked about quite a bit that has happened. So, I just want to give him a bit of credit in what he said and what he's done here, because he has translated a Barca news story from what has been said there. But he also runs a podcast, and he also does do a lot of interviews as well. And what he is saying here on this one, and this isn't just him who's saying this, it is Spanish sourced, by the way, so you know, but he is saying that, and this will ring true with a lot of Manchester United fans and what we're expecting to happen with Marcus Rashford anyway, so you could probably say there's an element here that he just picked up is what everyone would expect to happen anyway. But we can reveal that Barcelona are moving towards offering a basic 1-year loan agreement with a standard fee and significant coverage towards the player's salary. There is also news from the Barca news side of things which say the Nico Williams deal is completely separate to the Barcelona deal with Marcus Rashford. They have specifically said that they want Marcus Rashford for 1 year only, for a 1 year only loan. That is it. And again, straight away there, I'm thinking, if I've got anything about me as a footballer, and that sort of statement is coming out, look, we can guess if this is true or not, and we can sort of surmise. But let's be honest, like Marcus Rashford, we know he's turning down offers all over the place because he wants Barcelona. Look, the Athletic have run it, Romano has run it, Ornstein, everybody has run. Rashford wants Barcelona. So we know he wants to go there. And then we're going to get the details as we get closer to a possible or potential deal happening with Marcus Rashford. But that line there alone, 1 deal, 1 year only, we only want him for 1 year. Why would you bother? Why would you even want to go there if it was 1 year and we're making it very clear that we're just using you? Because that is all Barcelona are doing. I don't get how Dwayne Maynard, Marcus Rashford, like, honestly, is Marcus Rashford's life just being run by people around him that are just absolutely leeching off him right now? I can't blame Marcus Rashford in this anymore, because if I'm a pro footballer and I'm hearing that line come out that they want me for a year, and I'll tell you exactly what they're doing here. They're covering the gaps that they've got in their team because it's their first year back in the new camp. And they need to cover what they've lost already by using the Olympic Stadium. So they can't afford to spend anything. So what can we do? we can get Marcus Rashford in. That will sell a few shirts. That will definitely get through this new season's kits and give us some money back. Obviously, we're going to have the revenues and what's going to come in from the rebuilt Camp Nou as well. And then at the end of that season, we don't want that guy. We'll go and get someone better. And if you cannot see that as a professional footballer, and you cannot see that as an agent for that footballer, then personally, I think you do need to reassess who is working for you. Because Marcus Rashford's representation, look, he was out on that night in Belfast, and the people around him could have easily told him, no, we're not going to do another night out, Marcus, because we got training in the morning. Who is advising him? Who is telling him these things? He needs a little bit more help in terms of the actual professional side of things in what's happening behind the scenes. Because we know that agents run the game now. I've said this many a time. I've got a big problem with agents and how they actually run this transfer window and run everything with it. The amount of fees that they take from these players is absolutely crazy. But it's not from the players. The players pay nothing to the agent at all. Nothing at all. It's all coming from the club. And they're taking massive amounts of money from every single football club for every deal that they're making. But sometimes you just got to look at it and go, yeah, you may get a bumper there. You may get this. I don't know what he's going to get from it at all. But it's not going to help his career. I can't see any move for Barcelona helping Marcus Rashford's career one bit. Look, if he proves me wrong, I'll gladly hold my hands up and say, well done, son. And eventually, if he does prove us all wrong, he's going to be worth more money at the end of this loan deal. Because Manchester United's stance on this, just to counter it and where we're actually at and what's been said and what's reported, and this has come from ESPN and this has come from The Athletic as well, that Marcus Rashford, in terms of Manchester United's eyes, is a £40 million player, and they will push this for as far as they can through this window. So what that means is, till the last 2 weeks of the window, Marcus Rashford is going to be a Manchester United player. And then Manchester United will pull the trigger. All they're doing there, instead of accepting the inevitable, because nobody's put a bid on the table, it has been reported as that way. If Marcus Rashford was a £40 million player that you thought was a player that was definitely going to be snapped up by somebody, then it would have happened already. I'm sorry. If he was that good, 40 million, someone would have come in and gone, I want this kid. I want the famous Marcus Rashford. He isn't that famous. He isn't that big. He isn't that good. And that's why nobody has come in and paid for him and offered Manchester United 40 million. As much interest as there is, and you can say that Marcus Rashford has turned these away, the facts are on the table, and this is from reports coming directly from Manchester United. There are no offers for Marcus Rashford from anybody. I said this the other night. Someone made a great comment when they said Antony has just Newcastle have had a bid rejected of 45 million for Antony Elanga. How the world has changed since Antony Elanga came through when Marcus Rashford was this superstar playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. Now all of a sudden, nobody wants him. And that, I think, says everything. And that is where we're at. So why are United not accepting the inevitable? I'm all for the hardball. I'm all for Manchester United getting the best deals, as you know, and I think we've done well with this. But this one, I'm more concerned with Ruben Amorim and the problem it's going to cause if Marcus Rashford is around pre-season more than anything. I just want him out of the door. I know we're not going to get a big fee for Marcus Rashford. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to pay Rashford's wages. And we know this. He doesn't warrant them wages. And so reality tells you Barcelona are going to come in and they're going to offer Manchester United a big chunk of his wages, a loan fee up front, and they're going to take him for a year. And United can calculate what they can throughout that year. See, this is where it also works for United. And this is why I want United to take the loan deal. So you can get Marcus Rashford off your books. You get the loan fee. You get the majority of his wages paid. And you do save quite a lot of money in saving that from Marcus Rashford's wages. You could save, for instance, save yourself 10 million in wages for that season for Marcus Rashford. That's what you could save. 10 million. You get a loan fee, how much that is, I don't know. You just add that to the pot. And then you could make a transfer which is worth 10 million a year. Now, that could easily be a Douglas Luiz or a Dusan Vlahovic or a player like that, because that, in PSR terms, is the same amount. So then you would ask the question, well, what about when that runs out and Marcus Rashford comes back and you still got Vlahovic? Well, then I would say, Harry Maguire's gone the season after. Casemiro's gone the season after for guaranteed. And that would then carry on into that next summer. Obviously, Rashford comes back and then you're trying to sell him again. But you've got cover in this new player being in Vlahovic or Douglas Luiz, for example, like I've just said there, just as an example of what we could do this summer if Rashford goes on loan. Yeah, they're still there, and Rashford comes back, so you've got double the wages again, except more. Well, no, you haven't, because the contracts of Casemiro and Harry Maguire have run out, and their massive, massive wages are actually more than what you would have saved for Marcus Rashford's last season with him being out on loan at Barcelona. Another year off Marcus Rashford's contract. Maybe it's a little bit easier for Manchester United to sell him because they do have to still pay a big chunk of his contract off to release him. Do you get what I mean? This is why getting Marcus Rashford out on loan is just as important as selling him this summer. In fact, if he does prove me wrong, this could actually be an even better thing for Manchester United, because Rashford goes and smashes it in Barcelona and becomes more valuable to Manchester United anyway. And so let's see if Marcus Rashford can actually fulfill his potential in this move. For me, and my main point on this is, and what I'm making out of this here, and I'll get your thoughts on this, is I think Manchester United should start wasting time with trying to get the best deal for Marcus Rashford in particular. The others, which we're going to talk about in a moment, no problem. We'll play hardball on this. But you know, with what Marcus Rashford has got left on his deal, that he isn't going anywhere. United really are struggling to pay off his contracts if they do sell him, and there isn't much profit there anyway at the end of it. But look, he might be going away to a big hitter here and become more valuable. I don't think he will, but I would be absolutely buzzing if Marcus Rashford proved me wrong and then turned out to be an even more valuable asset to Manchester United, and we sold him next summer. Can you imagine, like, we got rid of Garnacho, Antony and Sancho, and Rashford just went on loan, and the headaches are gone, and we've got enough money in, and other players are gone, and then next summer, yeah, Rashford might come back, but the others are not coming back, and then two more in Maguire and Casemiro are being moved on, two older statesmen as well, and that gives you a little bit more freedom. If United have done well in the transfer window this season and they make the Champions League as well for next season, or even any part of Europe, and we've got more money coming in, all benefits what we want to do, and what we've done this summer will have a massive impact on the next transfer windows coming up. Like we've mentioned many a times, loans are just as important as actual deals, except in Jadon Sancho's situation, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. But first of all, I want to give you your opportunity in the chat to talk to me about Marcus Rashford and where you see this deal happening. Would you just take the loan deal now and get him out? Get him out. If this is true from what Barca News is actually saying, and they're going to offer a loan fee, standard loan fee, and pay the majority or a big substantial amount, as is quoted, of his wages, are you just getting him out because you know you don't want a drawn out saga and it's a player gone and a headache for Ruben Amorim gone? That's my stance, but you may disagree with me on that, and you may want to stand this out and try and get a fee for him first. I mentioned in the video earlier on as well, Newcastle are waiting around for anything that gets turned down. So, for instance, if United stand their ground and they tell Barcelona where to go, and Rashford needs a club by the end of this summer transfer window, and he's got to get in that Tuchel side for the World Cup, maybe Newcastle turns out to be the next Aston Villa for Marcus Rashford, right at the depths of the window. I just want him out. I just want him gone so we don't have to deal with him in pre-season. Ruben's trying to integrate a brand new team here and bring players in. Brand new players like Mbeumo and like Cunha. And they walking into their dream move, as quoted by both players, their dream move to Manchester United. And you've got Garnacho mopsing around, bitching, poisonous. You got Sancho coming back, who's there for the money, freeloading. And you got Marcus Rashford, who thinks he's bigger than the football club. All there, mopsing around this squad, mixing in with different players. You know what I mean? And that goes back to like Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire. What are these players supposed to do? Casemiro, the senior players of this club. They've got to accept them back in. It makes them play worse. It puts them off. It sets the tone off to a crap start through the summer. And I just think it's easier to loan him out. That's where I'm at anyway. Let's get into the comment sections. Comment section. Peter, thank you for the super chat, mate. Adam, mate, easy solution. Just show to Jim Radcliffe the hotel bill and plane seat fares for the pre-season tour for Rashford and Garnacho, Sancho and Antony, and they'll be gone before breakfast. Got to save some pennies. Yeah, I get where you're going with that one. Should let Sancho rot with the reserves and miss the World Cup. That says DV in a super chat. I mean, Sancho's never making the World Cup, even if he plays. Sancho doesn't care, does he? I will talk about him in a minute. I just want to get a few more comments in. Sancho needs to be sold. I would sell Casemiro if we can get an offer just for the wage and a younger player to come in. Sell Antony and Garnacho, and that will be a great summer. True. Sancho, Garnacho and Rashford are cancers in the dressing room who got to go. That was from Malcolm first of all, and then Finian after that. Les says, I think he needs the proper advice. If Barca actually do only want him for a year, surely he's not that big a moron to go somewhere for a year. Maybe he is, and will want a longer prospect. He's in his head. I think he's thinking, I can show Barcelona that they're gonna need to keep me after that year. In his head, he's thinking, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show the world that I belong in this Barcelona side, and. So this will be the first time that Marcus Rashford has played any football overseas. And to the standard that obviously Barcelona are and their levels. Will he make it? I don't know. I honestly have got no idea. I've said before, I would edge towards no, he won't make it, to be honest. Rashford will all but failed at Villa. That's why no one is cashing him. What's the chance of anyone buying him? Afraid we probably have to let Barcelona mug us on this one. United could get a decent loan deal out of Barcelona still. It's not dead, this deal. It's not. We don't have to give in completely. I just think Manchester United, if they start negotiating now with Barcelona for a loan, they could get this deal done quite quick. Look, say, all right, loan. Let's just get this loan done, Barcelona. But these are the deals. This is what is going to happen. You're going to pay all his wages, and you're going to give us the loan fee up front. That's what you're going to do if you want Marcus Rashford. There you go, Marcus. We've done our bit. It's up to you. And then let him decide what he wants to do. By the way, you're not going to be training in pre-season, by the way. So it's up to you to get yourself fit. It's up to you to actually get to whatever you need to get to match sharpness, to prove to Barcelona that you're going to go there. All of these things start to creep in and start to play on the player's mind. And all of a sudden, he might think, right, what do I do here? What do I do with this situation? Do I have to find another football club? Let's be honest, Thomas Tuchel is going to be predominantly looking through the English Premier League games to pick his sides. I'm not saying that managers don't look overseas when picking an international squad, but still, it's a lot easier for a player to to be noticed and find a way of getting into the manager's squad while playing in England. That's what I would be thinking. If I'm thinking about playing for England in the World Cup in 2026, then I'm staying in the Premier League. I'm finding a team I'm going to play week in, week out for. Yeah, you could argue, look, I want to be in Europe, want to be in the best competitions, but still, there are plenty of clubs in Europe that you can go to and feature. And I'm thinking Nottingham Forest. I'm thinking Forest probably wouldn't pay for him, but Newcastle want Marcus Rashford. You look at that. Aston Villa want Marcus Rashford, both in Europe. This is where he needs to be thinking, I feel. And I think it is down to the advice that he's getting. And I don't think it's good for him. I really don't. He's had his entourage blowing smoke up his ass. He needs a reality check, says Paula. Kat says, is it just me? I have a feeling that there has been a big bully up of the top paid players. I think there's change coming at Manchester United. Definitely. Compa Smith says, Emery was picking Rashford at 9 ahead of Watkins right before the injury. He was. And again, like if that manager's picking you in a so-called preferred position, if you're talking to Spanish YouTubers where you are now actually playing and feel like you should be playing, then surely that would be the club for you, wouldn't it? A manager that loves you, a manager that is playing you ahead of their star player in Ollie Watkins. Excuse me. That would be where I wanted to go. That's what I would be thinking anyway. Rashford England days are over. We got so many other players who can play in his position better than him, but he still thinks he's in that squad, and that's the problem. Marcus Rashford's ego is definitely out thinking what his actual ability is, and there's nobody to tell him otherwise. The person who did tell him has kicked him out of the football club because he didn't want to hear it. That's how I see it from the outside anyway. That is definitely how I see it. So, yeah. That, I think, is where that situation has gone. Anyway, moving on to his partner in crime, Jadon Sancho. It goes from bad to worse, doesn't it, when it comes to Manchester United players. Hey, once again, another scenario of Manchester United's wage structure and mismanagement of the past coming back to bite us on the arse, because we were talking earlier on from Italian sources this morning about Sancho being closed, and I did another video where Manchester United could actually be looking at better players. Obviously, Warren Zaire-Emery as well from PSG was a player that United are linked with. I did that video earlier on, but in there we was talking about the Sancho deal and how important it could be. And I used the example of Marcus Rashford's loan there just a moment ago, just to inform you of like what United could do with the PSR situation still, even if it was just a loan for Marcus Rashford. Jadon Sancho being sold would be massive. So Juventus and Napoli have not got any issue at all with paying 25 million for Jadon Sancho. That's what Romano has said, and this was in his piece on Gimme Sport earlier on. This is what everybody's jumped onto on social media and quoted Romano from. He's not said it in a tweet. He's not said it in one of his videos. He's done an article where he's outlined all of the situation, which is Jadon Sancho with Napoli and Juventus. Juventus are still in for Jadon Sancho. They're still waiting to discuss everything after the first round of talks. Romano has made this pretty clear that they are not going to pay Jadon Sancho's requested wages. So this is where negotiating starts. So everybody jumped on that little article and then pinned it up in their Twitter accounts, and Twitter went into meltdown. Jadon Sancho strikes again. It's part of the negotiations. Look, Jadon Sancho might not end up at Juventus, but the deals are not dead. There are still negotiations that can happen. And Manchester United will just have to try and figure out a way to make it work. Now, we do know that Fenerbahce are still also interested in Jadon Sancho, and that hasn't gone away either. And Romano even mentioned that. So they are monitoring the situation and waiting to see what Jadon Sancho wants to do. Now, the early reports from Turkey are still saying exactly the same now, contrary to what Romano has said, in that Jadon Sancho has an offer on the table there, and there has been conversations on the phone. In fact, Romano did say that conversation on the phone with Fenerbahce has definitely happened as well in the article. So you know that they want him. There is definitely a chance that he could go there. And it's all going to come down to someone getting near Jadon Sancho's wages. And Manchester United are stuck here because, like we've said before, a loan does not help United because Sancho leaves for nothing at the end of the season. So what do United do right now? That's the conflicting interest right now. That's the problem. Sancho has said all along, United need to pay his wages. He isn't going to take a pay cut. So, what do Manchester United do? Obviously, they lower the price to try and lure in other clubs to take in Jadon Sancho. Will it come to a point where to make this happen and Jadon Sancho get the contract that he wants, Manchester United have to lower Jadon Sancho's price even more just to get him out on a permanent? Because you're going to come to a point here where both Juventus or even Napoli or maybe even Fenerbahce, like Romano said, come in and say, look, if you want him out of your way, then you're going to have to pay part of his wages, and it's a loan, and that's it. So what do United do? Now, you're back into the same scenario as you was with Marcus Rashford in a way. Do you just start negotiating at a lesser price? If somebody came in and offered 15 million for Jadon Sancho, and you're saving that buying club 10 million, which is massive, it's like a year's contract. It's like a year's salary for that player. And then you accept that and you move forward. And you say goodbye to Jadon Sancho. You say goodbye to the rest of his transfer fee and then wages yearly. And everybody moves on to their next targets. That, I think, is where Manchester United might get to. But they're still playing hardball. They're not accepting any loan offers, which I think is right for Jadon because of, like what I just said, we end up losing him for bleeding nothing at the end of the day then. So if Jadon Sancho isn't going to accept these terms and conditions, then he's probably going to end up, I mean, this is up for Manchester United to decide, isn't it, then? I do believe that they won't allow Jadon Sancho just to rot for a season, even though everybody would love that to happen. The financial situation dictates to Manchester United. And clearly, can you get a massive loan fee for Jadon Sancho? Can that be done? Can Manchester United demand a loan fee from Juventus, Napoli or Fenerbahce and then pay a little bit of his wages to help out? Is that good enough? You're still paying a big chunk of his wages for the rest of the year. I mean, how much are they willing to pay of his wages? I mean, Juventus's case, I cannot understand it at all. with the money that they were playing Dusan Vlahovic, I don't understand how they can't afford Jaden's wages. Unless Sancho, and we don't know exactly what Sancho's asking for here. If Sancho's going to the table with his people and he's asking for the same money he's on at Manchester United, we don't stand a chance. Not a chance, because Jadon Sancho is upwards of $250,000 a year. So there's no way that Manchester United are going to be able to let him go. He is a thorn in our side, this guy. He really is. And we've got one more year to go. One way or another, United are going to have to decide how they make money out of the Sancho situation. But the report from Romano, that's what I just mentioned there. That, I think people are taken a little bit too seriously and out of context a little bit. Because Romano is explaining the whole situation there. Not that they have said goodbye, deal over. It's just that they will not pay Sancho's wages. So, what does Sancho want to do? If United stand firm and call Sancho out on this, then Sancho's not going to play football. He's going to have to do something to drop his wages. But, again, it's one player who has been given the world by Manchester United against Manchester United. Again, it's the same scenario as Marcus Rashford. The players don't need to do anything at all. And the agents will just make them sit there on their money and wait for the better deals to come in. That's what's going to happen with both Rashford and Sancho. I can see them both being dragged out even longer. Romano himself on Sancho actually did say that it is going to take maybe a couple of weeks, a few more weeks now. So Sancho might not be sorted until we actually get out on tour. The deal isn't dead. The deal isn't dead for Jadon Sancho. But it isn't as straightforward as we thought it was. And that's the sad bit. That's the gutting bit for all Manchester United fans, because it did feel like it was getting close today. Particularly, and the most annoying thing about this is that both Juve, Napoli and Fenerbahce are all willing to meet Manchester United's valuation of Jadon Sancho. But they're not going to pay his wages. He literally is holding this deal up himself because of, you could say, his greed, couldn't you? Right. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here on this one. Talk to me about Jadon Sancho, everybody. Have to pay the difference, 15 to 20 million. Net is better than nothing. Just have to get him gone. This is where you've got to sort of bite the bullet, I think, is what Daniel's saying there. Celtic says Romano, Bomba, Bilbao are stitching. What? Are stitching on Barca's spending. What does that mean for Rashford? I'm not sure what that means at all, actually, Celtic. I'll have to look into that report. No idea what that is. Let's see. Jonathan says, wherever Rashford goes, I hope he finds his best form and his career takes off again. Well, honestly, Jonathan, wherever Rashford goes, after Manchester United get the fee they need for him, I really don't care. I really don't care. I hope Rashford has a great career. I do. It's just never going to be at Manchester United. You never want a player to completely rot away. Never want that to happen at all. But in terms of what this man has done for Manchester United, at this moment, until he's gone, I ain't got any time for him at all. I won't probably even check in on him and how he's doing in his career after he leaves Manchester United. That's how much I feel about him. But again, it was one of our own, and we thought this was never going to happen. But this seems to be quite a common thing right now with Manchester United in terms of their academy players. It just isn't working. It isn't working for us. Rashford is a massive failure, bummed his way into the team because of injuries, never been consistent. He's a bum, says Stu. And Spirit says Sancho comes across as a smart ass with a bad attitude. How United missed this when handling his inward transfer to us is unacceptable to us going forward. Pep sussed him. It was out the door, laddie. Straight away. He was sussed by Pep Guardiola at academy level. We've all seen that. We've also seen the videos of him with Phil Foden in the City Academy where it's disrespectful, probably not the right word, petulant. Yeah, I would say that. And then obviously, like we know the story with Borussia Dortmund and how Haaland was helping him out week in, week out, trying to get him to training. Then he gets to United. He's late so many times that they're going to have a Christmas party off his fines. Fallout with Ten Hag. Ten Hag isolates him. He goes out on loan and then goes out on loan again. Chelsea end up paying us $5 million because they don't want him. Take note of it, Jayden. Seriously, if this isn't the biggest reality slap in the face ever for a player, then I've got no hope for him at all. He needs to look at this and say, oh my God, what have I done wrong? What has happened to me? What's happened to my career? Sell Sancho for 25 million. His wage, 250 a week, equates to 13 million, leaving United with a profit of 12 million. So buy him out and send him on his way. Manchester United may have to subsidise that. But then again, Juventus still have to want to pay Jadon Sancho for him to make the transfer happen. So really, it doesn't matter. United can pay out that contract anyway and have that profit. Fine. But where's he going? Juventus are not going to pay Man United the money if they're not going to accept terms with Jadon Sancho. So that's null and void, basically. Any news on Antony and Garnacho, says Leo. In terms of Garnacho, Manchester United have apparently dropped his price and his value. Now, the reports are going around that it was about 70 million. There's been another story going around. It started yesterday that Manchester United have realistically dropped Garnacho's price. Garnacho isn't going to leave Man United for 70 million. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's not a chance. I don't think there's one player outside of Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United now. Bruno and Ahmad probably worth 70 million on the market right now after performances. I don't think there's anybody in this team at all. That's how bad it is. So, yeah, Garnacho is nowhere near a £70 million player. United are just playing the book value side of things here with this one. I think looking at Garnacho, looking at his age, looking at his numbers, looking at the potential, he's obviously worth a little bit more than a few other members of the squad because of that age and what he could do still in his career. He's got a long way to go. But who the hell is going to pay Man United 70 million for any player off the back of that season? Is there anyone? No. So Manchester United on Garnacho, quiet in terms of offers. Again, waiting for, is it Tuesday? I think it is. Tuesday's the 1st of July when all the financial years change. Maybe we'll start seeing some more substantial reports coming in around Garnacho then. But I honestly don't see it. I don't see it coming from anywhere. He's got offers, but Chelsea are now, like Romano said, well and truly in for Jamie Gittins. They're just negotiating the price, but talks are ongoing. So that is Chelsea done. Arsenal are obviously looking to strengthen their squad and are going hell-bent on replacing forwards right now. So they're out of the Garnacho race. So I'm losing Chelsea. I'm losing Chelsea. I'm losing... who else was I just talking about then? Arsenal, sorry. So you've got what? Newcastle? They would rather have Rashford before Garnacho. Villa? Can they afford Garnacho? I don't see where else he goes. Is there anyone else who can see another Premier League club for Garnacho? Is anyone out there actually going to take Garnacho away from us in the Premier League? Like, if he wants to stay in England, I don't see anyone going for him. Who is going to take him? City are not going to take him. Liverpool are not going to take him. Arsenal are not taking him now. There's your top three. So then you're going down to Newcastle and Chelsea. Chelsea want Gittins, so that's Chelsea out. So there's 4 of the top 5 gone. And then you've got Newcastle. Newcastle, obviously, I've not seen any report for him at all going there. So that's them. So there's your top 5 gone. So Champions League's out the window. You've got Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. Maybe if Forest do sell Antony Langer, they might think of taking Garnacho. But again, then you're talking about an Eagle trip player that might want to just play in the Champions League again. I think he deserves to be in the Champions League, because of what he did in the Europa League. And he was really disappointed after that crap season about only playing 19 minutes in the final against Spurs. Maybe he feels like he can go to another club and play more European minutes. I don't know. I don't know what's going through these players' heads these days. It's an embarrassment, and they are an embarrassment. So, I don't see him staying in the Prem. But then again, I'm looking at what Juventus are saying right now and what Napoli are saying regarding the pricings of certain players and what wages. I don't get confident about him going abroad at the moment either. Is there anyone in Spain that can take Garnacho? Maybe we could hope that Atletico Madrid come back in for him, maybe. Every single day I start to worry more about Garnacho because I don't know which club is going to pay Man United the money. And United may have to drop that price right down just to take some money in and get him gone. I think it will come to that anyway. Like we said, with Antony, we are waiting for Real Betis' next move. I think United will give them one more go to make another offer for Antony, something more substantial, trying to raise the money together. Obviously, we spoke about Cardoso being sold yesterday from Real Betis to Atletico Madrid, and now we're waiting to see if they invest that money back into Antony. I don't know what is happening, but we haven't had another offer in yet for Antony, so we're waiting for the next one. And like I said again, on Tuesday when the window opens properly for all of the other clubs who then come in and start spending money, you're probably then looking at hopefully finding out who indeed is in for our players, because at the moment I think it's just because Sancho's really cheap that we're seeing some movement from Italy. They will prolong that anyway to get into July. They just want to get the negotiations going now so it saves a bit of time. So don't expect Juventus to be bringing in Jadon Sancho before June finishes this weekend. Not a chance. They're still competing in the Bleeding Club World Cup, for God's sake. So that's never going to happen. And then, who else? Don't know. You tell me. Is there anyone out there that fits the bill for Garnacho? I honestly feel his best hope is Atletico Madrid and going back to his former club. That's the only club that I think really suits where he wants to be. There's no one in England that's going to take him. Chelsea had a chance and could have gone in, but they could be about to spend 60 million euros on Gittins. And that tells you again exactly where United are at. Teams are spending a lot of money, but nobody wants to spend any money on Manchester United failures. And that's what we're up against. The club eventually will have to drop the prices and just get the players out of the door. They're going to have to take the hits and the losses. I've been saying this all the way through the end of the season. They are not going to get what they want for these players. They can try, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go for it. I love the way that Manchester United have got good deals out of transfers coming in. We've got some all right loan deals out of the door, but have we really sold anyone yet? No, we haven't sold anyone significant really yet. We got a good price for Scott McTominay at 30 million. Obviously, his situation with Mason Greenwood wasn't too bad. We did an all right deal with them, Marseille, to get him out of the door. And past that, scraping around for the odd little sale here and there. We haven't got a good record for it. I don't think it's going to get any easier. One thing I do want to make clear in all of this, though, and people who are saying this is the same old Manchester United, not getting deals done, everything's a problem. What the hell is this new management team and this new recruitment team supposed to do with these old deals? They cannot change contracts to make clubs want to buy these players. They are stuck with the big contracts of Marcus Rashford, Antony and Garnacho. Sancho and Garnacho. Antony and Sancho. Sancho, that's a good one, isn't it? Curled that one off. So yeah, Rashford, Sancho and Antony. We're stuck with these contracts. It's not like the club can change these contracts. Now, let's not forget, they were done more than 2 years ago before anyone else walked through the door, before the new recruitment team was in place. So there's nothing that they can do to change them contracts. They're stuck with the history and the past. And we all know how the club was run in the past. And unfortunately, we have got a history of failing in the transfer window, particularly over the last decade. And we're trying to fix that. It's not going to be easy for Man United. I've fully prepared myself for this transfer window. I'm not going to get frustrated about Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford or Garnacho. I will get frustrated about them on the pitch, on what they're doing. And honestly, right now, I think I'm tired of actually shouting and losing my rag and getting angry about them. I just know what they are now. And you know what? You gave them a chance. They could have done something. They could have done what Antony has done. I'll take a pay cut. I just want to play football. There'll be a point in this summer where these players, like the likes of Sancho and Rashford, will just sit there and they'll go, are we actually going to play? Is there anywhere where we're actually going to go? Because there's no one coming in for us. That should be the tell right there. That should tell that player, look, nobody wants to pay for you. Nobody wants you. They'll take you on loan because they're not willing to take a risk with their money on you. And you were representing Manchester United. That is a sad state of affairs, that nobody wants to pay for Man United players. It really is. But that is Manchester United's reality from the last decade, unfortunately. Let's get some more comments in on this one. Send him to Lisbon for 30 mil, a 50% sell-on clause. Spirit says, if we have a successful season, we must be prepared to tie our diamonds to the club with extended contracts. Lenny Yoro, Amad Diallo, Aiden Heaven, and Chido Obi being the ones in mind. Nice of you to actually mention some positives about Manchester United there, mate. Today, sadly, hasn't been a positive day for Manchester United. We've been talking about the old guard and the Sanchos and the Rashfords and trying to get players out. Well, let's not forget, we have got Matthias Cunha, we have got Brian Mbumo coming in, we've got the players from last season, the likes of Chido, who are one more year developed. We've got Aiden Heaven to see more of him as well. And we've got Joshua Zirkzee to come back and see if he can continue his form. I know that's a bit of a shout and clutching at straws a little bit there, but you know what I mean? There is some decent players at Manchester United. And you know what? Maybe with a full pre-season, Ruben will get into these players a bit more. We might actually see some improvement from some of the current squad already. We know who's not going to feature, but there are players that have got question marks over them still in this squad. Can Ruben get any more out of them? Because I think that's going to be something that's judged as well next season. Not just what he does with his new signings. Can he make anyone better? He's supposed to be a great coach, Ruben Amorim, and changing fortunes of players' careers around by his coaching methods. So we'll see next season if he actually does improve anybody as well. That's going to be interesting. Thank you, everyone, for all the likes as well so far in the show. We're creeping up to that 500 live mark. Again, please give the video a like if you are loving the content. Thank you again if you have already. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the march to 90,000. We're nearly there, people. Absolutely smashing it at the moment. We're less than 2,500 away from our target before the start of the season, and we're still in June. It has been an absolutely mega month, and again, thank you for all your participation in all the shows and everything that we've been doing over the summer so far. It's been a busy old one, July, hasn't it? I got a feeling July and August are just going to be as mental. Interesting other story regarding the goalkeeper I was just going to tell you about, which was that Diogo Costa, like we've said before, will come to Manchester United if the sales go well. There's your problem, like we just spoke about for the last 40 minutes. The sales are United's problem. The players want to come. Ruben can attract the players. Costa wants to be a Manchester United player. These are the reports coming out. And United, if they do sell the players that they need to, are not worried about replacing Andre Onana now. There are reports that are floating around this afternoon as well, that Costa will come to United, but we have to hit that price, and the only way we do it is by moving players on. And sadly, everybody loves being at United because, well, of course, they're paid massive amounts of money and they're protected at Manchester United. Better than at any other club, honestly. Let's try and get at least 500 live likes. We have done that. Thank you, Modern Samurai. Absolutely love it. Samurai has also put the kit link in there as well. A few people asking where I've got my latest one from. Again, same place as always, everyone. Great trading tops, great retro kits as well on there. And go fill your boots. Dead cheap. Quick delivery as well. Get a shirt like this for just 15 quid. Get in there, fill your boots. Honestly, got loads of different options there for every single club. From the Japanese, is it B-League, J-League, I think it is, or something like that, all the way through to the Saudi Pro League. Everyone's in there on that link there. So click on that link. That's where I get all mine from anyway. But yeah, on the goalkeeping front, again, we talked about this earlier on this morning. I desperately need another goalkeeper in that goal for Man United next season. I really do. I hope that Manchester United find the money and find space in the squad to make this happen. I really do. Quickly as well, big, massive promotion is going on, everybody, with our match day sponsors, Match Bingo. Some of the mods will drop the link into the chat in just a moment, but the Women's Euros is about to start next week. I'm a big advocate for the women's game. Obviously, I coach a women's team myself. Me and Kaz have been to games as well, watching the women. It is a massive thing. Obviously, get behind the Lionesses this summer, but Match Bingo are doing a special right now on the Euros, everybody. If you haven't been part of it, you are definitely missing out on Match Bingo. They are our match sponsors throughout this season, and I've got got some great deals going on right now, and it's the one that we have been running for a while. If you download the app off the QR code on the screen or the link in the description, which we're going to pop into the chat as well in a minute anyway, you have to just go to the game you want, which is all on the app there. So you just go to whatever England game, even the Club World Cup games that are going on right now. Any of them will do. Go into them, pick as many cards as you want. It's just like going to a bingo hall and grabbing your bingo card and just ticking your numbers off, except instead of numbers, it's match events like you can see on the screen there. VAR, goal, throw-ins, anything. You get them all in a row, 5 in a row, you win. Another row, another win. Jackpots, all 15, upwards of 200 quid in your account. You can withdraw that straight away. It's instant withdrawals as well on Match Bingo. You have to be a UK resident and 18 above to enter. If you do, as a new customer now, download the app and deposit £5, then you will get another £10 on top of that. And if you buy 4 cards, they're only £2 each, you get an extra card on top of that as well with Match Bingo for the Euros throughout the Euros. That is staying there. So get behind the Lionesses, get behind whoever you want to beat whatever English team in the Club World Cup as well. And it's City against Juve tonight, so you might want to watch that game. Add a bit of excitement to it with Match Bingo, everybody. Thanks again to them for being our match sponsors here on Forever United TV. The link is now in the live chat, everybody, for that. So if you click on that link, download the app from there, and then get your extras on top if you are a new customer. There's actually a few people in the chat that have actually won on Match Bingo as well. It's a great game, and it just adds a little bit of fun to, let's be honest, boring Club World Cup games. So yeah, play a bit of bingo. Let's see what else we've got here in the chat. Let's get a few more comments in. Have you seen that we are invited to join focus groups on the new stadium proposals? I haven't, Babs. Interesting update on that. Please let me know what that is. Direct message me, Babs. I don't think I've seen that message. At the moment, still trying to sort out my next season tickets and everything going on. By the way, since I mentioned it, you absolutely smashed the likes as well, everybody. So thank you again for that. I think we're completely up to date with everything going on. It has been a quiet afternoon. Not the most positive of days for Manchester United in the transfer market, but still, we are moving forward, and hopefully tomorrow brings us better news as well. But I will be here with all of it at 8 o'clock as usual, everyone. Make sure you're tuned in and ready to go. Let's see if anything develops overnight regarding Jadon Sancho, because talks are still ongoing. Let's see if this story around Barcelona does have any legs with it as well, with Marcus Rashford. And of course, we're waiting for the Bryan Mbeumo update. It has been said that it's about 63 million now. That's the general consensus around the media at the moment, that that's the price United will pay for Bryan Mbeumo. But for now, everybody, that is us all finished. Thank you again, mods. Great job in the chat as always. I will see you all 8 o'clock in the morning, unless something breaks tonight. I can't see it with the way that today's gone, but if it does, I'm there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to know when the content is coming, everybody. And please give the video a like on the way out. I'll see you all later.